Ever wonder why your settlements always seem to lose against raid attacks when you have turrets all over the place? Or how your settlers equipped with legendary weapons lose against a group of raiders with rags and pipe pistols? Well, the success of a settlement raid depends on whether you're absent or present during the attack. So let's break this down. Your defense value consists of things like turrets, guard posts, and population. Turrets will make the bulk of your defense, while population only accounts for 0.5% per settler. Walls unfortunately don't have an impact on any defense. Your defense needs to be higher than the attack value, which consists of food and water supply. Even consumables in your workshop are added to this value, but only by 0.1% per item. This only becomes an issue if you have something like a water farm with thousands of purified waters in the workshop. The game calculates the attack chance using this formula. Then this base chance is reduced by a safety multiplier based on the settlement's population and defense. No matter how high your defense rating is, every one of your settlements will always have a 2% chance of being attacked for every single in-game day. Now that we know how defense and chance of attack work, let's talk about how settlement raids work when you're present. If you show up as soon as the raid attack starts, you'll see enemies appear in the predetermined settlement raid spawn points. Every settlement in the game has these. Depending on how long it takes you to arrive and where you're coming from, the game will calculate how far the raid has progressed in your absence, meaning enemies might already be deep in your settlement rather than at the spawn points in the outskirts of the settlement. This takes place as soon as you enter the loading zone of the settlement. And no, fast travel is not instant teleportation. Fast travel advances the in-game clock based on the distance traveled and the game's timescale, similar to walking the distance. If you're present or near the loading zone of the settlement that's under attack, then your turrets, your guards, and your settlers will impact the outcome of the raid attack. With that said, you should equip your settlers with armor to increase their resistance to attacks, and settlers do have infinite ammo as long as you put at least one ammo of any type in their inventory for the corresponding weapon equipped. Even the settlers that aren't assigned to a guard post should have weapons and some kind of armor. The good news is, settlers won't die from NPC attacks. When their health goes down to 0, they'll just sit for a bit until it's fully restored, just like companions in regular difficulty. Settlers can only die by the player or from scripted events. Although raid attacks might not necessarily start at their respective spawn points, it's still worth setting up defenses around them and throughout the settlement. Settlement raid attacks are supposed to scale with your character's level, but at times it's simply based on the area's level range. So settlements down south like Murkwater Construction Site are more likely to get high level settlement raids than Sanctuary Hills. And for my fellow settlement builders out there, try to build around the raid spawn points so enemies don't spawn inside your structures and become unreachable. If the enemy is stuck under some floor piece and survives for several in-game hours, then the raid attack will be considered a success, resulting in the settlement taking damage. I recommend checking Oxhorn's video on settlement raid spawn point locations. The link is in the description below. Now, if you're absent for the entirety of the attack, the game basically caps your defense and attack values and rolls the dice to determine the settlement's success. This chance is determined by comparing the defense strength and the attack strength. The maximum defense value that can be generated is 200, while the maximum attack value generated is 150. This means that high defense is more likely to win, but even when it's maxed out, there's still a 30% or roughly 1/3 chance to lose an attack on a well-stocked settlement. So this is why those low-level raids can actually win against fortified settlements, unfortunately. If your settlement loses the attack, it will result in damage taken to the power, the food, and or water items, as well as a temporary decrease in happiness and potential permanent loss of items left in the workshop. You can get around this if you store items in a separate container, or even better, inside a mannequin for safekeeping. Fortunately, the temporary damage done to a settlement will repair on its own over time, so you don't have to go there and repair things yourself. So as you can see, settlement raids aren't fair by any means, especially when you are not there to stop them. But it's nothing to stress over when you have a bunch of settlements to manage and quests to take care of. Just keep your valuables stored outside the workshops for safekeeping. Anyways, if you found the video helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot. Thanks for watching, see you all on the next one.